Welcome to my presentation. Today I'm going to discuss about procrastination. My name is Aygultatlici. I'm a practicing psychotherapist in Ontario, and today I will share some tips and strategies that can help you to overcome procrastination. You will find your own strengths and your own strategies and make a personalized plan for yourself that can help you to decrease avoidance behavior and to decrease procrastination and move towards the life that matters for you to create more meaning in your life. So what will you have at the end of the session? You will understand yourself better, what's holding you back, which thoughts and feelings are becoming a kind of barrier for you for making progress, and you will become aware of new strategies that you can use in order to help yourself to stop procrastinating. And if you are here today, probably you find yourself procrastinating or avoiding things from time to time, even if you know that these tasks matter for you, and even if you know that you are capable. And maybe right now your mind is telling you that this is impossible, that you have tried many times, that it won't work. However, everything seems impossible until it's done, as Nelson Mandela says. Maybe you have watched the movie called Yes Man. The main character of the movie, Carl, he becomes stuck in his life and he keeps procrastinating things. He keeps rejecting any opportunities. And as a result, he finds himself stuck, lonely, and as if there is no meaning in his life. And at this point, he attends a motivational seminar, as a result of which he changes his perspective towards life, and he starts telling yes to different opportunities. He starts making new connections, meeting with new people, and he's achieving a career growth and finding meaning in his life. And in the illustration of this character, we see that he tends to avoid things because of uncomfortable feelings and because of fear of change, and he doesn't want to get out of his comfort zone. And this movie actually shows that his fears and anxiety didn't become an obstacle for him, and he could take action and keep moving despite these feelings. And this shows us that we can also do the same, even we have uncomfortable feelings, uncomfortable thoughts, or the change seems scary. We still can take some steps, and taking small steps helps to create momentum and to keep going and to overcome procrastination and avoidance behavior. And on the other hand, when we are having uncomfortable feelings, and if we don't want to feel them, if we feel like frozen, and then we start avoid things, distract ourselves, even if brings a temporary relief, but at the end of the day, we find ourselves feeling guilty, pressured, and we move away from things that matter for us. So in long run, procrastination and avoidance behavior doesn't serve us. So becoming aware of it and becoming aware that feelings are coming and going and thoughts are just thoughts, we don't need to accept them as literal truths, we don't need to fuse with the thoughts, can help us to find new ways of relating to ourselves, to the world, to procrastination behavior, and to find new ways of coping with procrastination and decreasing procrastination. So what's happening from neurological perspective? What's happening in our brains, and why it's easier to procrastinate rather than to stay focused? Procrastination isn't a flaw, it's our brain tries to protect us. So when we are getting distracted, or when we do things that give us pleasure, such as scrolling in social media, eating snacks, or doing what we enjoy, or we are doing cleaning, our brain produces dopamine. And these dopamine levels help us to feel relaxed, to feel good. But whenever we see a task that is too challenging, we feel overwhelmed, and the dopamine production decreases. And that's why when something is boring, difficult, or uncertain, our brain releases less dopamine. And that's why we feel bored, we might feel scared, and as a result of it, we tend to avoid, and we want to escape from discomfort. On the other hand, what's happening in amygdala, a part of brain which is responsible for stress response, when tasks feel overwhelming, we start to feel fear, and amygdala is overactivated. A kind of alarm system gets activated, and this triggers even more anxiety, more self-doubt, or sense of freeze. We might sense as if we are not able to do anything, and we want to avoid these uncomfortable feelings. As a result of we are seeking to do something safer, such as watching TV or doing anything to distract ourselves. And when this procrastination patterns, when they repeat, it gets even more difficult to break the cycle, because we are not aware of it. We don't even understand why this is happening. We just keep distracting ourselves and avoiding. And as a result of it, another part of the brain called prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for planning, decision-making, focusing, also gets activated and impacted. And as a result of it, it gets more difficult to plan things, to make decisions, and to think in general. And because of stress caused by all this chaos. And so all this explains why it's easier to procrastinate and to avoid, and why we keep procrastinating, because our brains are interpreting some events or tasks that as dangerous, maybe that there is a threat, and as a result we tend to procrastinate in behavior. But once we understand how the brain works and what are the systems that are involved, and once we understand how our brain works, it will be easier to understand yourself and to move towards what matters in your life. So what can we do in order to decrease procrastination? We can do activities intentionally to boost dopamine. What does it mean? So we can, for instance, divide tasks that are too big into smaller parts, and we can try to focus on one task at once, and we can make limitations of time. For instance, we can divide the task and study for 35 minutes and then take a break, and we can make more detailed plans on how we are going to study. We can gamify tasks, use timers, use different techniques such as Pomodoro method, which would help to decrease procrastination. And we can reward ourselves. For instance, we can promise ourselves that if I complete this task, I'm going to celebrate it, and celebration also would help to decrease procrastination. And you can pair tasks with pleasure. For instance, if you enjoy studying outside or in the cafe or with friends, or if you like drinking tea while you are studying, or if you enjoy certain type of music, you can combine these things together, which would help to decrease resistance, and it will be easier to make progress. Or you can imagine how your family member would feel, or what reaction they would have if you will keep to procrastinate, and this can also help to motivate yourself. So another method that you can use is reducing threat signals. As we discussed, when you will feel overwhelmed, when you will feel scared or anxious while you will want to start the task, and this urge to procrastinate will show up, you can use certain plans and strategies to calm yourself down, to relax, such as mindfulness, meditation, or maybe washing your face with cold water, or touching your body, your hands, your face. And these kind of strategies that help to cope with feelings can be also useful for you to motivate yourself to take action. So another strategy can be reframing the task. Maybe you are setting for yourself too strict and rigid rules, such as I have to do it, I have to complete it, which creates some negative feelings. And this creates resistance. So instead of having these rigid rules, you can remind yourself why this task is important for you. For instance, you can tell yourself, I choose to do this task because it moves me towards my goals, because it's important to care for my family, because it's important for my career, or whatever you are enjoying. Like placing these important things that matter for you, thinking about it is going to change your emotions, is going to change your mindset, your motivation, and it will help you to keep going. Another strategy that might be useful is shifting perspective. For instance, you can observe yourself from future. For instance, if you were 80 years old, 90 years old, what kind of suggestion you would give yourself and how you would feel yourself while you are procrastinating, or if you were able to complete what you have planned. Or you can observe yourself from the past, for instance, look at yourself from the eyes of a child and how you would like yourself to respond in this certain situation. What would that child feel if you could complete what you have planned? So, or considering opinion of other people from other people's perspectives, what other people who value about you or who love you would feel about if you could complete the task. So all kind of these shift perspectives also can help you to motivate and to find momentum, to create momentum, to keep going and to decrease avoidance behavior. You can also use external support, such as you can write down your plans and stick them on certain places, or use reminders, alarms, or different programs that are already there to help yourself to decrease procrastination. And also focusing on one task, just on one task, decreasing distractions such as placing your phone into silent mode, shutting down your phone maybe, and decreasing distractions as much as possible, or finding adjusting environment. Some people, for instance, study better when they're outside in the cafe when there is noise. On the other hand, some people study better when there is no one. Like maybe you can switch on music, or you can adjust environment according to your needs, thinking about when you were more productive, when you were procrastinating less, what kind of environment do you need in order to procrastinate less and to succeed. And also, as Stephen Pressfield also mentions in his book, changing relationship with the feelings that you have while you want to start the task. Oftentimes we feel scared, we feel fear, we feel anxiety when we want to initiate the task, but he suggests to accept those feelings as a sign that this task is important for you. And he says, as much fear, if you have very strong fear, this is just indication that this task is really important for you, and there is a chance for you to for your growth, for your development. And fears are just explaining that this task is important for you, and there is a chance for us, an opportunity for developing and contributing or including things that matter for us in our lives. So when we change perspective towards fear, towards anxiety, or difficult thoughts that are arising at that moment, this also would help you to procrastinate less. So right now, I want to ask you several questions using solution-focused brief therapy in order to understand what kind of change you would like to see as a result of attending this session. So I suggest you to take some notes. It can be whether taking some notebook, writing with a pen, or writing down your answers on your phone, so that you can review these notes, and this would help you create a kind of plan for yourself and to understand yourself better, your patterns that are keeping you stuck, and new ways of responding to things, new strategies and characteristics, strengths that you already have. It would be helpful to discover these things. So if this session was useful for you, what kind of change you would like to see in yourself? How you would know that this session was useful? If you were not procrastinating, what you would like to be doing instead? And if you were not procrastinating, what kind of activities you would be pursuing? What would be different about the way you are relating to the world? What would be different in your interactions with the people? What kind of difference you would see in yourself? And if there were some other people next to you, what would they notice about you? And what would be different about your internal experiences? What would it tell about you if you could complete the task that you wanted? And what kind of difference it could create in 6 months, 1 year, 5 years, if you could stop procrastinating, or if you could decrease this procrastinating behavior? And which of your qualities, characteristics you would be using in order to achieve your goal? And if your desired outcome was present, if you were not procrastinating, if you were feeling good, proud of yourself, if you were feeling peaceful, or if you were feeling the way that you want to feel, and if you have already achieved your goals, what would let you know that your desired outcome is present, what kind of difference it would create in your life, in the lives of other people, and what would finishing task on time give you in your life. That's important. So you can ask all these kind of questions for yourself in order to understand yourself better, what you want to include into your life, what's important in your life, what kind of internal transformation do you want to see in yourself, what kind of changes you would like to see in yourself. And answering to these questions, writing them down, can have a clearer picture and description of your preferred future. It's easy to say, I want to stop procrastinating, but what else would be there? What else would be showing up? Which of your characters, which of your internal strengths you would see if you were not procrastinating? So, but again, maybe your mind is telling you that it's too difficult, it's not possible to achieve. However, we see that there are many successful people who had many difficulties in their lives, but still were able to succeed, that who were not procrastinating. For instance, Muhammad Ali, who was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease in 1984, he continued to contribute to his society, to show up for social justice, to making motivational speeches and contributing to other people's well-being, even when he was ill. So when we see this kind of people, it helps us to create momentum, and reasons that we are creating for ourselves to procrastinate, they become more insignificant. And there was another a psychotherapist, Heda Bolgar, who lived, who were able to provide sessions, and who continued with her work even when she was at very old age. So most of us, we are young and we still find reasons to procrastinate. We are saying that things are too difficult. However, there are examples of very successful people who kept going, who kept being disciplined and avoiding procrastination even at old age. So when, of course, there are times when we are procrastinating less, or there are exceptions when we are not procrastinating. And when we consider those moments and when we pay attention to those moments, we can find some resources from there that we can use in the future in our struggles with procrastination. For instance, what was different during the times when you could succeed and you were not procrastinating? What kind of thoughts or things you were telling to yourself? What was it about you that helped you to stop procrastinating at that time? How you cope with your feelings, with anxiety, with thoughts, challenging thoughts. If even when anxiety and fear were present, but you successfully managed to take action, what helped you then? Which of your resources you used at those times? What other people noticed about you? What did they say about you? How you felt yourself at those times? What was it telling about you at those times? So you can ask yourself these questions, and writing down these resources, you can use them for your future struggles. And you can also imagine if these resources were present even at the times of contingency, when you will be feeling scared and anxious, what difference it can create. How this might help you to keep going even during challenging times. So there are some further questions that you can use for yourself. For instance, remind yourself about times when you meant procrastinate, but somehow you didn't. What was different then? Where were you? What did you do first? What were you doing differently? Another example of successful woman who succeeded despite challenges was Dana, who was born without arms and legs, and he got her degree in Masters in Rehabilitation Engineering and worked in NASA, and made a lot of discoveries during these challenges. And when we see these successful people, it helps us to stay more motivated, because and when we compare our challenges with theirs, sometimes our challenges seem more insignificant. So if your desired outcome was present and you could achieve your goals, what minor signs will show up that tell you you are already moving, you are already making progress? And what difference would those signs make in your day, in the lives of other people whom you care about? What would let you know that you are taking consistent action despite anxiety? And if you were procrastinating less, what would help you to understand you are procrastinating less? So these were solution-focused brief therapy diamond model questions. And if you will refer for therapy for procrastination, you can choose the methods that you want to work with, and there are different ways of working with procrastination. So these examples illustrated some questions, some parts of questions from solution-focused brief therapy. And now I want to show some acceptance commitment therapy skills. Oftentimes, procrastination leads because we get fused with our thoughts. For instance, imagine that you have a thought that you are broken or you don't trust anyone, and try writing it down on one piece of paper. And if your piece of paper was like in front of your eyes, or if it was too close to you, would it be easy for you to focus on things that are around you? Is it be easy to concentrate, to focus on your work, or to notice what other people are speaking, what are they telling you, or and as a result, when we see the thoughts as literal truths, or we pay attention too much to them, we get fused with them and they shape our behavior. At those times, for instance, if you are having thoughts that you will fail, you are not ready, you are not good enough, that you feel stuck, this will inevitably impact your feelings. Then you would feel scared, you would feel anxious, you would feel sad, and as a result, it would be easier to procrastinate, to avoid, and consequences of it, that even if at short time, in short term, you will feel good about it, you will feel satisfaction, but at the end you will feel guilty, ashamed, furious about it. You will blame yourself, you can feel anxious, and you might find yourself in places where your behavioral repertoire is very narrowed and you don't have any meaningful activities in your life. So thinking about it from different perspectives and looking at it from a larger perspective can help to become aware of your thoughts, how they are impacting your feelings and your behavior. And once you notice these thoughts, accepting them as just thoughts and considering other perspectives and changing your relationship with thoughts can be helpful to generate new perspective. For instance, each time you would notice that you are having these useless thoughts, you can remind yourself that you can schedule a task, you can start a task for 5 minutes, and if you will still feel bored or anxious, you can stop doing the task. But oftentimes you would notice that once you start the task and you continue for 5 minutes, this urge to procrastinate would be gone, and you will be willing to continue with the task because your brain stops accepting the task or the studies as threat after 5 minutes. So convincing yourself, using these strategies, working with thought, becoming aware of your thoughts and how they are serving you, and reframing your thoughts and having different thoughts and paying attention to the thoughts that are serving you actually can be useful in order to use them again when you will have this kind of challenges. So for instance, you can tell yourself, feeling stuck doesn't stop me from studying, and I can still do what matters for me, even if I feel anxious, if I feel scared. And you can also make a plan and write down what things you want to include into your life, what's important for you, what kind of changes you would like to see in yourself, in your life, in which fields of your life you want to see them. And once you set your goals, each time when you want to procrastinate, you can remind yourself about those thoughts, about those goals, and how close you are to that thoughts, and how your procrastination or avoidance behavior would impact the chances of achieving those goals. Are they are these behaviors are useful for you, are these thoughts are useful for you, and which other alternative thoughts you can use in order to achieve your goals. And also the way we speak to ourselves also impacts procrastination. For instance, if your attention is distracted, if your focus is distracted, if you are avoiding how you are speaking to yourself, when you notice your thoughts about yourself, it can also impact your behavior, your emotions. For example, if you are too self-critical and if you are angry with yourself, it will not be helpful for you to make progress. But when you just observe your thoughts with kindness and curiosity, and when you consider feelings as some things that are carrying information about you, about what you care about, and for example, if you're having a thought that you are wasting your time, you can tell to yourself that it's okay to feel this way. It's just your nervous system is trying to keep you safe. And you can be curious instead of critical. And you can ask yourself what exactly you need at that moment. And you can convince yourself that you can keep going despite feeling these uncomfortable feelings and despite having these thoughts. And once you respond to these thoughts, once you accept them, they will lose their power over you. Imagine it as if a guest, for instance, imagine your thoughts, these automatic thoughts and feelings, as a guest who wants to come into your room, but you keep pushing him away. And since you're keeping pushing him away, he comes back with a stronger power. That's exactly what happens with the thoughts. When you want to suppress them, when you don't want to accept them, they are holding you with a stronger influence, and when you are trying to avoid not to think about things that you are thinking. So accepting thoughts and being curious, being kind to yourself, and carrying them with them would help you to decrease their influence over you and to decrease procrastination. So as we said, oftentimes our feelings are becoming the factor that makes us to procrastinate. Because we feel as if we are frozen, we don't like having these thoughts or feelings, and so our behavior is shifted in the ways that are not useful for us. Imagine your feelings and thoughts as passengers. Imagine that you are in your vehicle and you are the driver, and the passengers are telling you their opinion about where you need to go, and maybe they are giving you some suggestions. And imagine what will happen if you are going to listen to all of these opinions. Where will you end up? Will it be easy for you to reach your destination? But if you just kindly acknowledge what they are saying, if you are accepting their suggestions, for instance, you can thank them, that you can tell that you appreciate their suggestion, but you believe that you need to take certain action in order to achieve your goals. And if you keep going, no matter what the passengers tell, then you will be able to achieve your goals. And each time when you will have this urge to procrastinate, you can remind yourself about this metaphor of a driver and passengers. And passengers accepted to be your feelings and thoughts. And when you just notice them and accept them and keep going towards what matters, it's inevitable that you will be successful one day. You will decrease procrastination behavior one day. For some people, support and connection is important. For instance, some people are more focused and productive when there are some others in the room. So it can be useful for certain people to work with other people, for instance, in the library, or there is a strategy called buddy doubling, when people are meeting online and studying together. And this brings a kind of sense of accountability, and some certain hormones are produced when you are connecting with people that helps you to decrease your stress levels, to decrease anxiety, and to focus on your tasks. And also feelings of responsibility can help you to stay more focused on the goal, even when you want to quit. Once you promise to your friends that you will go until the end, you are more likely to continue with the tasks. And also noticing some thoughts that you have around accountability, around your responsibilities. If, for instance, you have too rigid and strict rules about yourself, about your responsibilities, you would respond to it with sense of guilt or fear or anger. For example, if you are telling to yourself that I have to complete the task no matter what happens, you might have a kind of resistance just because of these thoughts. But when you reframe a sense of responsibility, for instance, if you need to clean your house, and if it seems very difficult for you, if you consider it from perspective of how happy your kids would be if you will be able to clean the house or complete the work or to finish the work that you need to finish, your feelings will be completely switched into something meaningful for you. And your connection with your kids can help, like feelings that you have when you think about your kids, about what matters for you in life, can help to shift your relationship with the responsibilities and can help to create a kind of momentum and help yourself to keep going. It's also important to consider your relationship with time. For example, if you think that you can't cope with this task at a certain time, if you are not good at managing your time, you would feel more stressed, anxious, and this would create more tension, and you will be most likely to procrastinate. So noticing thoughts that you have related with the time, and if you are being more self-compassionate with yourself, more kind, and if you are saying that even if I'm having some challenges with time management, I'm still capable, I can find new ways of managing my time. So this kind of belief in yourself would help to shift your mood, your feelings, and would positively impact your behavior. And also noticing, for example, when you are having rigid schedules, when you need to complete your task, how you feel about it, which feelings are showing up, and how you generally respond to it. But which behavior would serve it best to achieve your goals, how you can respond differently, and what you can do if you are having anxiety, fears, which of strategies that were helpful in the past you can use again to overcome this resistance and challenges with time management. So there are more detailed explanations about your energy awareness and flexible planning, for instance. Sometimes we have very rigid rules regarding planning also. We think we are using the same method, that they are not serving us anymore. We are trying over and over again, but we are not doing anything different. And being more flexible with planning, trying new things, trying, for instance, combining things that we can do at the same time. For instance, if you need to go for a workout and if you need to spend time with your children, with your kids, you can combine those activities. You can play with them outdoors, and this would help to create time for yourself, for your studies. So being more flexible, being more open-minded, becoming aware of your thoughts about your time management, including your values and what matters for you in any challenges that you are having, becoming aware of your energy awareness, for instance, when you are more focused, during which time of the day. Some people are more focused in the mornings, they have more energy. Some people are able to work better at night or in the mornings. So becoming aware of it and using your time productively, prioritizing things that matter for you and doing them during times that are when you are most energized, also can help to create a kind of momentum movement and to help you to keep going. So also noticing what generally distracts you, where your attention focus goes, which kind of circumstances are triggering you for distraction and for procrastination. Is it a self-criticism? Is it thoughts about giving up? Is it frustration? How you're responding to it and how you would like to respond differently, and which strengths you can use. So paying attention to your focus, to your attention, to your thoughts, to your feelings, understanding yourself better, and using some strategies to help to shift your attention. This can be some sticky notes, for example, or reminders on your phone, or you can ask some people to remind yourself of what's important for you, what you need to complete. And another important factor is that when